and welcome to day 22 of the 30-day Technique Tune-Up Challenge. Tonight, we have got this very strange blues thang. It's an 8-bar blues with hammer-ons and pull-offs. We basically have two lines there, and we're going to look at the first line first, which basically goes D, G, D, A. And essentially, most of the time, we're cutting and pasting either the ascending or descending part of the sequence or both. So basically, that sequence is played for that first measure. We're going to strike the open D string with the pick using some palm muting. We're going to hammer on with the first finger playing the E at the second fret, hammering on with the third finger playing the F sharp at the fourth fret. We're going to restrike that with a downstroke. Then we're going to pull off to that E at the second fret, and then pull off to that open D string. And again, you want to think of that as up, down, when played like. We're going to cut and paste that same sequence for the second measure on the G string. As you might have guessed, for the third measure, back to the D string. I'm going to put those together. Then for the A sequence, we're going to ascend the A string one time, ascend the D string two times, ascend the G string one time. And all together, that's... Let's play that first line. We're halfway there. All right. The second line basically has the same first two measures as the first one. In fact, that's one of the things you want to get used to doing. You can see the way they're stacked. You can see that first, it's going to be over here, that first D in measure 1 lines up with that D in measure 5. So you can kind of compare and contrast. Okay, got D, and then we've got G for those first two measures of both those lines, which means, in theory, it should be something like for the first two measures for the second line, which it actually is. Then for the third measure, D and A share a measure. We're basically going to ascend and descend the D sequence, and then descend and ascend the A sequence. So I'm going to put that much together. All right. Then it moves back to a measure of D, but we're going to play a slightly different sequence there. We're going to ascend D, ascend G, and we're going to backtrack to that A, and then we resolve at the D octave there. All right. So let me put that last line together. Awesome. Let's get to the technique tips. Yesterday, I mentioned the idea keeping lots of arch to that last joint on your fingertips, but also reducing the range of motion when you're hammering on and pulling off with that third finger so it doesn't clip the upper adjacent string there. Right. In terms of the subdivision method, we're basically going to go the ascending and then descending part of the sequence for the D string, G string, D string, and A string. Once through that whole cycle is eighth note triplets, then twice through as 16th note triplets. Awesome. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow.